Olivia, big weekend coming up for the soccer team, hosting the conference, hopefully semifinals and final. Kind of tell me, how do you feel about the team going into this year? We're really on a good roll, won 10 of your last 11. How do you kind of feel about burying and hopefully the championship?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're looking forward to it. It's always an exciting weekend. You know, we've been here before, and to have it at home is, it's really nice. There's just nothing like it, you know, and that was something we really fought for at the end of the season. And as far as going into this weekend, I think we're playing the best soccer that we have all season. We, really upped our pressure and just really upped our organization. So I think it's going to be a great weekend.
It's been an interesting season. You're coming off the Final Four, going to this year with big expectations, really high ranking. Some games early where admittedly you didn't play the way that you wanted to, kind of dropped down. Now recently, as you said, the play's been getting better, ranking coming back up. So you feel good where you are going into postseason now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as far as the rankings, we're more concerned with how we're doing on the field right now and just kind of how we're looking, how things are clicking. Like you said, we had a little bit of a rocky, not necessarily start, but sort of that earlier portion of the season. And so, anybody who knows not only soccer, but really any sport, it's all about peaking at the right time. And I think that's exactly what we're doing right now.
The other thing is, too, it's not like you just fell off the earth. It's just that expectations here have been raised to a point.
Right.
And what is considered a rough stretch now wouldn't be considered a rough stretch 4 or 5 years ago, I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've won as a goalkeeper. I think you've had 54 wins in 4 years. Does it even start to sink in with you a little bit that, 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks, this is going to be over?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's something that at this point you try and, you have to take it day by day, and that's not something you want to have in the front of your mind, but it's definitely something that's in the back of your mind, just that little bit extra push of motivation throughout whatever it may be, your daily practice or, make sure you get your schoolwork done so your mind can be clear for practice, that sort of thing. But that's always something that, we always talk about playing for the seniors, playing for the girls who are having their last games, and so that's something that I think I've been very cognizant of since my freshman year, right? This eventually all will end, and so,
But now you're the senior. You want the ball playing for you.
Yeah, right.
So does that give you a little more passionate pitch to some of these younger teammates?
Yeah, and we have quite a few young girls playing very, very key minutes, and I think they've done a great job stepping up to the plate, but that's certainly something that that we talk about, not to an excessive extent, but it's definitely something to keep in the back of the mind.
Well, you're pretty athletic back there at goal, too, because you've made a lot of special saves. And when you think back, is there one save in your career that just jumps out at you?
One save? Not specifically, maybe one save, but, well, I don't know. During the Rhodes final, and honestly, the SAA final maybe 2 years ago or last year, we were up by 1 goal, and I came out and made a breakaway save right at the 18 with, maybe 2 minutes left, and we ended up, winning by that 1 goal. So I guess that was my sophomore year that we didn't go into overtime. And, that was a big one. I was pretty excited about it.
How do you keep focus back in the back? Because sometimes you can go a long time, and there really not be anything happen, then boom, boom, there can be a flurry of things. How do you keep your focus to where your mind doesn't wander off and you get caught napping?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, it's kind of, I have to put myself in the shoes of the backs, right? I'm trying to help organize the backs and try and make sure that they're all in the right positions, and so...
Bossing.
Yeah, bossing, yeah.
Or directing, I guess is better, okay.
Yeah, that's exactly.
But that keeps you focused on what could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
How much help is Jessica Chislett, assistant coach, who tells us, I'm sure she tells you what a star she was when she was here.
Oh, yeah.
But how much help is she in practice and even in games?
Sure, yeah. Coach Chiz is just so knowledgeable about the game. And she'll tell you that she really loves the mental aspect of the game, and so it's funny you asked about, staying focused and just kind of that mental portion of the game that for a goalkeeper is so important. Being on the field, having that mental stamina and just kind of that mental focus is really important, but it's even more so important in the goal because, like you mentioned, you have, 5 seconds to be the hero, and the rest of the 95 minutes, you're sitting there watching the game, more or less. And so Coach Chiz is just so knowledgeable not only about formations and the way the ball moves and just organization, but also about the psychology of the game. The psychology of sports and just sort of what to think about, what not to think about, what to focus on, and that sort of thing. And so, I mean, she's unbelievable.
She's such a goofball. It's
Oh,
hard
yeah.
to imagine her helping anybody focus, because sometimes I wonder how she gets in and out the door, because she's just
Oh, yeah.
a different personality, isn't she?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look back at your whole center career, what are you going to remember the most, do you think?
Oh, I mean, as far as, you know, what has the most lasting impact, it's the people you meet, right? I mean, through both soccer and basketball, I've just met the most wonderful people that you can imagine, had the best experiences with, I mean, my best friends. And, you know, it's being on the road, it's those late nights when you just you get back on a Sunday night and you had to go to class at 8 in the morning. Like, at the time, it's a pain, but when you look back and think on it, I mean, those are the things that you just can't replace.
Shannon, it's been a terrific career for you here at Center College over your 4 years on the soccer team. Now you're getting ready for conference championships this weekend. How excited are you about what lies ahead, hopefully over the next 3 to 4 weeks for you?
Very excited. We've had a great, like you said, a great career here at Center, and I would love to see this team continue on to the NCAAs and continue our record of winning the conference championship. And I'm very confident with this team. So, and I would love it for the girls and for us to continue on.
When you came to Center from Mercer County, I thought, well, you know, she'll really have a good career over here. But I've got to admit, I envisioned it being, you scored 20 goals a game and everything like that, because in high school you were such a prolific scorer. Now you're a defender. Was that an easy transition for you, or was that difficult at first, or still now sometimes you think, well, I wish I was up there?
It was a difficult transition for me because I had never played defense before, but Jay needed me to play defense, and so I said I'll do where I need to be on the field, play where I need to go, and so it was quite a learning process, and Jay was hard on me at times, but you know, that's a good thing because it pushed me to be the best player that I could be. Sometimes I'll get to go up top still, like I got to go play forward at Millsaps last weekend, and that was a lot of fun for me just to kind of return to my roots, but I'll just play wherever the coaches want me to go.
Yeah, and I don't think most of your teammates even know what a prolific goal scorer you were in high school, from what they tell me, that you don't even talk about that anymore. Some of them have been shocked to find out that you had some of the seasons you had, but you were for 2 or 3 years among the state's leaders in goals. Mm-hmm. Don't you ever tell them that you did that?
No, it doesn't really come up. Every now and then I like to mention that I played forward all my life growing up, just because it's amusing to me that I now play defense.
But you don't say I scored 53 goals or whatever it was one year. You don't tell them that?
No, sometimes I forget how much I scored in high school. I do. Sometimes I'll talk to the Boyle County players, and we'll talk about how I guess Boyle County used to watch out for me a little bit back in high school.
A little bit. I think they marked you like with 3 players, didn't they?
Maybe, but and that's about it. Now it's more about Center and focusing on Center and doing the best we can with this team, and enjoying the process here, because it's definitely a step up, and playing for a really good team, which is all I could have asked for coming to college.
You were such a well-rounded person in high school, too. You went to the state track championships. You were the Scholar Athlete of the Year because of your academic work and in combination with your athletics. What's it been like academically here for you at Center?
Center is always a challenge. I really appreciate that the coaching staff has worked with the team. I remember when I first came here as a freshman, we'd sometimes have 2-hour practices to 2.5 hours every now and then. And Jay's really worked with us to kind of give us more time to focus on academics, because it is a priority of the team. This year we had a calendar where all the girls wrote down big days that were coming up, such as big test days. And I think that helps them to recognize, okay, this particular day is going to be really challenging for all the girls to have like the mental focus that we need to practice. And so he's been keeping practices a little bit shorter, but that's not to say they're not focused. They're very focused, and we get done what we need to do and keep the intensity high, but while making time for the chance to focus on academics.
What's going to be your favorite Jay Hoffman story you're going to remember if we were talking 10 years from now, and I ask you about something you'll remember about him?
The one that comes to mind is, I think it was I can't remember if it was my sophomore or junior year, but he was, like I said, he was always giving me a hard time, pushing me to be a better player as a defender, and so I would get nervous sometimes when he'd start coaching me, and one time I was just responding to him like, okay, like I'll do it, and he's like, don't say okay, and it was like, it made me really nervous because this is my coach like telling me don't say okay, and that's my natural response. And it took me a few seconds, to realize he's just giving me a hard time, and so he went on like that for a few minutes because he'd say don't say okay, and I'd be like okay, and then he'd just keep going. But it's just kind of a good story to show that he'll push you, and Coach Disley too, to be your best, but like at the same time he likes to joke around with the players.
You think that'll help you because you have pretty lofty ambitions when you leave center? Think that's going to help you career-wise, what they've done for you?
Oh, for sure. Coach Disley and Jay push us to be the best, and that's what you want. You want to get used to working under pressure, working under pressure from the coaching staff, under pressure you put on yourself. I feel like good athletes tend to put pressure on themselves, and like I'm hoping to become a medical doctor, and so obviously there's going to be a lot of pressure when I'm going into surgery or going to talk to my patients, and so I think it's a good learning experience for sure.
But you want to be a doctor in a small town, I hear.
Yes, that's true.
Is that just because you're just a small town girl, or?
Yes, I grew up in this area and I loved it, and so I'd love to come back and serve in this area. And I got to work, I mentioned to you a little bit before our interview, I got to work at the hospital this summer and really liked the environment, and I loved working with people who knew people I knew, and it's just kind of a neat environment, and so I'd like to come back.
Well, that would be neat. Of course, like I say, now I know not your total focus, but the majority of it's getting this team playing well in postseason. You all are really on a good roll, won 10 of your last 11. It's about you're back there playing defender. But you never know. Wasn't it 2 years ago with a penalty kick you won an NCAA tournament game?
Yes.
So, I mean, you never know when those offensive skills could be handy.
That's right. Yeah, it was funny because in that game I was all focused on shooting the PK, but I didn't realize that if I got that PK, we would win the game. And so my PK went in, and it was snowing, and then all of a sudden I see the rest of my team rushing out onto the field.
So you didn't even know that was for the win?
No, I didn't. I was just like focused on, not getting in my own head and like taking the shot and making it. And so it was quite a delightful surprise when everybody came rushing out to the field.
Well, that's just pretty cool. Well, you've got Barry Friday. Hopefully you win. You play the conference championship on Sunday. They'll be on to the NCAA. Good luck to you, and hope it ends
Thank you.
1 or 2 wins better than they did last year.
That's our goal.